Hi everybody, anybody there? Just wanted to let you know that today we're doing a foaming volcano tutorial and that we are going to make the cloud dough to make the structure, and then once the structure's built I'm going to show you it actually live what the reaction is with the vinegar and the food colouring that I have made up for you. So let's get going. I have got my bowl ready and I'm using just an average normal cloud dough recipe. So it would normally be 8 parts of flour and 1 part of oil. You can use any type of oil that you want. Normally I use a vegetable oil or an olive oil so that it's completely edible. But today, to make it so that it reacts with the vinegar and it causes a foaming sensation, I'm going to split the flour in half. So, for example, use 8 parts flour, 1 part oil. So I'm using 4 parts of flour, 4 parts of bicarbonate of soda, and then the 1 part of oil. Okay, so I'll go over that again in a minute. So I've got my flour. I've had everything pre-prepared today because I've been out this evening, so it all feels a little bit rushed, but I'm all very organised today. So I've got my 4 parts of flour, which I'm just going to put into my bowl, and my 4 parts of bicarb. I've actually used a cup of flour, a cup of bicarb, and I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup of oil. But this wouldn't normally be enough to play with, so I would probably double the mixture if that was the case. So I've just put them both into a bowl together, and then I'm going to add my oil. Today I'm using vegetable oil, so I've got 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. I'm going to add it a little bit at a time, just so I can get a feel for how it goes. So I'm just going to mix the bicarb and the flour together. The good thing about doing this with the cloud dough first is that you can use the cloud dough before you turn it into a volcano. So it's 2 activities in one. So cloud dough on its own is a really great activity. I'll show you the consistency and the texture of it once I've made it. And then once they're finished playing with it as cloud dough, you can then turn it into volcano and then add the vinegar to make it foam. So you're like elongating the activity. Sorry, bicarb is getting down my back of my throat. Extending the activity and elongating it so that it is, yeah, you know, sometimes kids don't want to sit at a table and they don't want to do something for a long period of time. But if you're going to change it up and make it into something new, then they might be more engaged. So although this activity is all edible, I probably would suggest it being for like toddlers to preschoolers plus. There's a great element of science in this. It's almost like a science experiment. So I mean, obviously it is edible and you could use it with mouthing babies, but 1, it wouldn't taste very nice, and 2, they wouldn't really get it. Obviously there's more to it than just something they can chuck in their mouth and play with. So I'm just making this cloud dough. I just need to add a little bit more oil. And hello to everybody who's been joining me. So I'm just going to make this cloud dough up for you. So I've used, normally for the cloud dough, I'm using 8 parts of flour to 1 part of oil. But today I'm cutting the flour mixture in half. So using 4 parts of flour and 4 parts of bicarb. You can also use baking soda or baking powder. It's just got to have that element in it that's going to make it react with the vinegar. So I'm going to mix this all together. It's pretty much there now. Basically, the consistency that you want for your cloud dough is you want it to feel really nice and soft and you want it to feel like sand, but you also want it to mould together. So as you can see, it's completely moulded into almost a thick, you can almost like you can build a sandcastle out of it. That's the kind of consistency you want. So you want it to feel really, really nice. You don't want it to feel too wet, but you want it to be able to hold its shape when you squeeze it. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean, because I bought a handy little tool for me to show you. So I've made this cloud dough now, and it's come together really, really well. It's exactly how I want it to feel. And I've bought this little sand mould. You can get loads of them in like sand sand castle packs and stuff. So I'm literally just going to add the cloud dough into this, push it all down like you would do a sand mould. And then I'm going to put it in here so I can show you. So I'm just going to turn it out, and it should hold its form. So I'm just going to turn you around so you can see that it's held its form into the whale. Okay, so that's the consistency that you want to be able to hold its form. I'm just going to turn my notifications off because that's really annoying. There we go. Okay, and we're back in the room. So that's the consistency that you want. So like I say, you can use that as a cloud dough just as a normal activity before you even use it as a volcano. We're going to move on to the volcano. So now that I've got my cloud dough ready, I'm going to get my vinegar ready. I've already got 2 colours. You can have as many or as little colours as you want. So at the moment I've done a red. So all I'm using is a white distilled vinegar. People have asked me in the past whether you can use malt vinegar. I don't see why not, but I've never tried it myself. I've got a green vinegar. So I've literally used, I'll show you my trusty food colourings again, because you all know how much I love them. Wilton food colourings are my colourings of choice. I rave about them in every single session. I use them for everything. And they were £10 for the 8 different colours. And as you can see inside the box, you can see all the different colours, all the different pots. So today I've used the red, because the red worked really well, the green, and I'm going to use a purple maybe, so you can see the different colours. So I've got the little pot. It comes in a tiny little pot, but you literally only need a tiny little bit. It's £10 for the 8 colours. So it's a little bit of a splurge, but it's totally worth it. So literally all I've got is I've just dipped my cocktail stick into the pot, and I'm going to mix it in, and you can see how quickly that's changed colour. It's got a really lovely dark purple, and that was it. That is all I needed to make that lovely dark purple colour. And for this activity in particular, I would suggest that you have darker colours than you would normally, because obviously being squirted onto the white flour, it shows up much better. We actually found that out by accident. I made the colours reasonably vivid, and one of my colleagues made it really dark, one of the greens, and it looked so much better. So I've got my tray, which is what I'm going to make my volcano in. So I'm just going to pour the mixture into the tray, and I'm going to mould it into like a volcano shape basically. So I'm going to pat it down, make it into almost like a cone, and then I'm going to make a hole in the middle so you can put your vinegar in the middle. You can also put it wherever you want really, the vinegar, but obviously for this foaming volcano activity you want it in the middle really. So I've moulded it into the volcano shape. I'll just show you. So those who have just joined us, I'll just go over again the, okay, so look, there's my volcano shape. So I've literally moulded the cloud dough. It's held its position really well. And I've lit a hole in the middle, which I'm going to put my vinegar into. So what I'm going to do now, what I've done for the, what I've added to this is I've used a syringe, of some description, just to add some fine motor skills for the little ones into the activity as well. So I'm just going to draw up some green, and then I will turn the camera around again so you can see the reaction. Please feel free to ask me questions at any time. Okay, are we ready for this? Right, so I'm going to put it into the middle, and it's all going to hopefully, there you go, foam out of the top. It looks wicked. So I'm going to draw up the next colour. So yeah, so it's 4 parts of flour, 4 parts of bicarbonate of soda or baking powder, and then 1 part of oil. Right, so the next colour, I'm going to do a purple. Just wait for my phone to get into focus, which is always difficult. There you go. So it looks really, really cool, really, really wicked. The foaming is just incredible, and it even makes a noise. So it adds another sensory dynamic to it, because you can actually hear it fizzing and foaming. So finally, I'm just going to do the red to show you. And you can do this as long as there's flour and bicarb left. You can do it for as long as you want, really. So I'll just turn you around for the final time and show you the red. Ready? And once it's all gone, you can actually play with the foam as well, because the foam lasts for ages. So that's something that's really good about it as well. It's just an activity that keeps on going. Not only can you play with the cloud dough originally, but you can also play with the foam after you've sort of, well, you just keep making holes, make holes all around the outside, which is what I did. I'll show you what I did with Freddie. And because you've built it up, there's so much room inside that you can just keep on going. So, show you again. I'll just add it into this hole in the side that I've made. Just square it in. I literally just plop it anywhere really, and it just reacts to wherever you are. And like I say, you can do as many or as little colours as possible as you want. Obviously, the other good thing is if you wanted to make it like a volcano, you could do just orange, an orange coming out the top. Somebody said to me earlier, but I actually think that limits it a little bit. Right, ready? Let's go mad. So you can see it's literally foaming everywhere now that I've just squirted it all over the place. So we stayed with this activity for quite a long time, just as the volcano, and then when Freddie got bored of that and he wanted to go into the different areas, then that was absolutely fine. The good thing about this activity is it's completely child-led. You set it up and let him loose. He loved the idea of the syringes, he loved the idea of the different colours. It even went into, like, we had oranges coming out because we had red and yellow mixing together. We had purples coming out because we had red and blues mixed together. So it's a great conversational starter for that as well. And just the fact that it's something completely different and very alien to them. But it's science, so it's great. You could probably make the dough a dark brown or a browny colour. But I find it very hard to make, because the only wet substance is the oil, and the colour doesn't really mix very well with the oil because it's oil, and the colours are water-based. It's very hard to dye a dry substance with a food colouring without it getting too wet. So I haven't had much luck dyeing dry substances. So yeah, that's why we did it, just left it white. And then also I think because you're using, if you're using multicolours, it obviously shows up different, you know, it shows up so much brighter. Sorry, colours. These are my colours, Emma. These are the colours I used. Wilton food colouring gels. They come in little pots. You can buy them individually. I actually got mine from Hobbycraft for £10 for the 8. But you can buy them individually if you just wanted 1 or 2 colours. But I got them from just in a pack. Yeah, of course, I'll go over it again anyway, just one more time. So I've used, normally for the cloud dough, what I was saying was the cloud dough you can use as an activity on its own, because it's mouldable. You can use it to make sand castles or with little moulding things, which is what I did. So we had used this little whale, for example. You just fill it up like you would a sand castle, pop it out, and it will hold its shape. So that's an activity in itself. So that's 8 parts of flour and 1 part of oil. I've changed the recipe slightly. So I've made it 4 parts of flour and 4 parts of bicarbonate of soda. You can also use baking powder, but I find bicarbonate of soda easier to find in the shops randomly. So 4 parts of flour, 4 parts of bicarb and 1 part of oil. And that makes the cloud dough. Then you just mould it together into the shape that you want. I've chosen a volcano. Make a hole in the middle so you can squirt your vinegar in and it will overflow like a volcano. And then all I've done was use white distilled vinegar and I've coloured it with the Wilton food colourings. And then I've used as many or as little colours as you want. I've chosen the 3. So yeah, and that's it really. And you can obviously just keep going. As long as there's flour and untouched flour and bicarb left, then you can keep squirting it with the vinegar and it'll just keep foaming and foaming and foaming. So yeah, I think that's everything, guys. If there is any more questions, then just let me know and I can answer them, or alternatively look back through the video, or a couple of posts down was my original post, so it's got the recipe there as well, with some sort of photos that were taken when Freddie did it himself. And thanks for tuning in, really, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.